Hello everybody and welcome to another fun-filled, expeditious, hair-raising, adventurous episode of Radio Rama, where I show you, as the name implies, how to work on radios, TVs, stereo systems. For example, I just finished up this Westinghouse. And we have another Westinghouse today. We have a 1947 Westinghouse model H-161 AM and FM. It is a 8-tube set, and it uses the Armstrong network for FM, which is good. There were some companies out there that tried to circumnavigate those patents and tried to reverse engineer their own FM designs to sometimes limited success. I find that some of the companies that went with the Armstrong system in the US, particularly Zenith, and then, of course, pretty much all the German manufacturers were using the Armstrong system. It's a much better system, in my opinion. I've never worked on one of these. I've always been fascinated by them. I like early FM sets. I'd be curious what this looks like when this is backlit. We've got these multiple colors here. I'm assuming that when you turn the band switch, maybe it operates different light bulbs to illuminate part of that dial in a different way. Not quite sure. Again, I've never worked on this one. We have, what is this rectifier? 6L6 output. Huh. That's good for something. Definitely. Let's see what we got here for. Looks like we got a mixture of tubes. We got octal, loctals, and miniature pins. 5AZ4. I'm assuming that's the rectifier, because these guys are certainly not a rectifier. I'm just not familiar with my loctals, but that's probably the rectifier. Now, let's take a look underneath. And I looked at this yesterday and then found something pretty hilarious, even though I hope it doesn't mean that there's something catastrophically wrong with this. This electrolytic has swollen the hell up. That probably means it's completely shorted, and that's coming off the field coil of the speaker. And so I'm hoping that the field coil on the speaker isn't open. Maybe I should go over there and measure some pins. The other thing I'm seeing is we've got some failures of other capacitors in here. You see these little block-like things? People sometimes confuse those for domino caps. They're not. These are just paper caps that are inside of a little Bakelite box, and we've got two of these that are cracked wide open. We have several caps where their ends are gushing out. So something has gone really wrong here. And so before I get too carried away, I want to check out that field coil to see if it's open, because if it is, I'm not going to get very far on this project. Then I'll have to either get another field coil or a permanent magnet speaker with a compensating resistor across B+. Okay, good. Luckily both the field coil and the output transformer are showing good on our speaker. It's a pretty big speaker. I bet this thing sounds pretty good. Let's hope it's not rubbing or anything. But we're going to have to do quite a bit of surgery on this guy before we get too far. Obviously powering this up right now would yield a disastrous result, and ordinarily I replace the electrolytics and then do a test fire, but the amount of damaged caps I've seen here makes me feel instead I really need to replace at least all of the critical, can't fail caps, especially anything that's going to the output or rectifier stages, anything that's involved with B+. The stuff that's just in the IF, RF related places, I'm not as concerned. Kind of wondering about these caps. It seems like every single one of them is split open. These must have had a spectacular failure rate. It's all these black ones. Now that guy right here, that brown one with the little dots on it, that is a domino cap. You don't need to worry about that. That's just mica, and they're usually pretty reliable. Let's see, what do we have here? We have a 20 microfarad can. I'm guessing this is probably also another 20 microfarad cap. Oh, I see what's happened here. So, what someone has done is they probably weren't paying attention, and they put in a 150 volt rated cap. Now that's coming off of the field coil, which is definitely going to be more than 150 volts. It'd probably be more like 225. And so over time, this guy just got beat up. And so that's why it failed. So I feel better now. I feel like probably there wasn't a catastrophic failure. You just had this guy fail because it was overworked, because it was under voltage. I'm going to look at the schematic because I want to make sure that they didn't replace the wrong values here, because I kind of don't trust their work now. So let me pull that up and then we'll confirm, and then we'll start with general recapping procedures. Alright, well, it looks like they have the wrong values in here. I mean, it'll probably work with that value, but it's supposed to be 30 microfarad caps. And to confirm, the voltage coming off of there is over 300 volts according to the schematic. So this is twice, this is less than half of what it should be as far as voltage. So someone either didn't know what they were doing or they weren't paying attention. Who knows? They're probably dead now because these are probably 60, 70-year-old capacitors. So I'm going to go ahead and replace these two guys. Definitely don't like the way that looks, or that one. I don't know, sometimes they look horrible and they're fine, but these have all got to be replaced anyway. And I'm going to replace every single one of these little black things. What does that say anyway? What does that say? 0.005 microfarads. I wonder if they're all the same value. Probably not. I'm going to take one of those that is split open and see what it looks like inside. I want to see if they're actually shorted. Alright, here is where we are at right now. I've got every single one of these caps that I've looked at has been horrific. Like, that's clearly failed. You've got molten wax that is spewed out of one end. I've never seen so many horrific capacitors. Like, that was broken in pieces. That's the coupling cap coming off of output tube. It's clearly hosed. These all look bad. Super bad. Same thing. So I'm going to replace the rest of these guys. I've got three more. I think this is the across the line cap. 2.01 caps. Probably how it works is that probably the ground of this cap is the body. And you've got 2.01 rated caps. So this is your one end, two ends tied together. We'll eventually need to replace that with across the line rated caps. This thing is full of these kind of sandy looking little resistors that have a tendency to go way out of wax. And when you're talking about FM, it all has to be pretty tight. When you're replacing capacitors in an FM set, make sure that you keep your components approximately fairly close to where they were from the factory, because FM, especially the earlier FM sets, are real fidgety and they don't like crap being moved around, because it can affect your basically your signal. It can throw things out of balance. Looks like we got another cap going the chassis ground. That's another one of those things. I've never heard of this brand, Tobe. Clearly they didn't know what they were doing. Never seen caps fail so spectacularly in that manner. Alright, so it's all recapped. I replaced literally everything in it. I saved some of these guys because I just wanted to see, like, just how bad these might be. Let's see. Let's crack this one open. It's already mostly open anyway. Holy shit, that thing's tough. Thought it would just crack right open. Yeah, it's just paper. Just a paper cap. I'm guessing if they get any moisture inside of them, they just pop. Every single one of these is cracked. So now we have nice, new, fresh capacitors. We'll see if it works. I'm going to clean the pots first before I get too far. And I should have gotten that out before I started filming. But here we go. Let me squirt some juice into the wipers. Whoa! Just shot across the garage there. It's probably on off. And I need to clean the rotary switches here. Unfortunately, I don't have a knob. I need to put a knob on that and clean that and work it back and forth. Alright, the question is, will it work? I'd be highly suspicious if... Well, not suspicious. I'd be highly surprised if FM works. Let's see. Let me look on the front. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and... I think that's our volume. I really need to look at the front. One of these is tone, the other one's volume. I'll turn them both down. Oh, it's hard to get my fucking hands in here. Alright, we're going to bring it up slowly because, again, there was a lot of damage in there. Bring it up to 50%. And I don't see anything. I don't see any pilots. That's not good. Either that or all the pilot lights are burned out. Oh, I see some tube filaments back there. 6L6 is starting to come up. We could just have blown bulbs. Alright, let's go ahead and bring it up. Whoa, well, that pilot light just turned on. Ah, Jesus, it's loud. All right.
Where did they get that? The bravery. Hey, it started in little things.
Strictly applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free.
Where black news comes from.
That's AM. This is FM.
So we'll take the time to have you.
Think of when we together. Ozone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I'll be darned.
Starting trouble. No one likes that. They not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because this...
I just want all night, yeah.
Oh, that. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Huh.
Our homes, we protect them from intruders.
What do you know? Fucking FM works like a champ on this thing. It is fantastic. Huh. I don't even think I had the loop antenna hooked up on this thing. I just had this wire coming off of there. Well, that's great. So now that we've got the electronics mostly sorted out, I'm going to start doing the cosmetic stuff because I've been having my arms in electronic innards all day long, and I'd rather do something that doesn't require thinking as much. So I'm going to go on and clean this cabinet up. It's kind of roached. I'm not sure if I can salvage it. I just did this because I wanted to work on this model. I'm not sure if anyone's going to buy this thing. I mean, it'll probably be a discounted set since I'm not sure if I can save some aspects like the grill cloth, but we'll see. Whatever. Okay, it's time to start working on the case. I think the grill cloth is on the edge of being salvageable, so I'm going to try to salvage it. The case has a lot of scratches, discoloration. I'm going to go over it with my favorite product of all time, Old English. And no, it's not the nasty beer that they sell in the back of the beer gas station. I don't know what's in it, but anyway, it does a pretty good job of, I should have torn this paper towel off before I start filming, but anyway, what you want to do is just kind of rub this stuff in, and it'll gradually bring back your color. Wow, that's looking better already. Yeah, like I said, this stuff works great. Anytime I go to an estate sale or a garage sale, first thing I do is always go down to the basement or the pantry in the kitchen or whatever and see if there's Old English Howards, car wax, any of that stuff, because I use it all the time. And it's cheaper. Usually they give me a funny look like, you want to buy that? Just take it. Or maybe it's like 25 cents or something. I'm feeling pretty good about this. That's looking better already. Might need to touch up a few areas here. Probably get like a little bit of stain just to cheat it. I get a feeling I could probably wax this and bring it back. All right. Well, that looks like $1,000,000 compared to what it did. I just slathered that stuff on. I'm gonna let it sit here for a while in the sun, kind of soak in there. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take, it's hot out here, I'm gonna take the chassis back out inside and clean the chassis and oil all the parts and go ahead and run my audio input. It has a phono connection already in the back. So this will be easy. We don't need an isolation transformer because this is a transformered set, so everything is electrically isolated to begin with. So all we need to do is put a couple of resistors for right and left channels, put them together so we have mono. And the other thing we need to do, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it today, is need to put a fuse that's in between the incoming AC line and the transformer. We want to do that just in case something really goes wrong with the transformer, which the older these guys get, the greater that possibility is. We want the fuse to fail before anything else. The other thing, I don't like this jerry-rigged cord where someone's put these wire nuts on there, so we need to replace that cord as well. And we also need to replace the across the line caps. Now granted, it's getting kind of late in the day. I'm not sure if I'm going to rush to get this done. We're already making such good progress. Might as well not try to kill myself doing this. I've already worked on one other project today, which was this console. This is what happens. My wife goes away on vacation and I spend absolutely every waking second working on damn radios. That shows how little of a social life I really have. Alright, well, I think this must have been a kitchen radio or something. There was a thin layer of greasy film on the chassis, so when I wiped it down, the metal underneath is in pretty good shape. Now, there's something I want to say about these chassis. A lot of them are coated or plated in cadmium, and so there's a lot of guys out there for some reason that go to town with sanding and buffing these down. I don't advise you do that, especially if you see any corrosion, like if you've got green corrosion. You just don't want to get the stuff airborne. And besides, no one is really going to look in this thing. I mean, I just do it for my own self-satisfaction. The radio can be dirty, it's fine. I just like it to look a little clean. But I do not advocate for buffing these cases, because all you're going to do is get that shit in the air and you might get it in your lungs. And also, unless you completely coat the thing in some sort of clear spray, it's going to corrode right back real quick. So you're not doing yourself any favors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start oiling some of the twisty turny stuff. So we got the bearing and the tuning condenser here. We have one in the front and the back. And then, of course, we have, there we go. Let's see if that's going to, oh, it's already turning out a lot better. Very strange tuning thing here. We got a spring wrapped around that. Maybe it's to make it feel easier. I'm not sure what that's supposed to do. Whatever. There we go. I need to remember to turn the radio off before I start filming. Anyway, you get the idea. I think it's time to go out and start paying some attention to the cabinet. Okay, so now it's time to do the next stage of working on the cabinet. We're going to apply car wax. I just use plain old Carnauba car wax with a sock. I'm actually thinking, should I get out my mechanical buffer? Because the case on this is pretty raw. I kind of hate getting out the mechanical buffer, but I think it's the right thing to do, so let me get it out. Alright, so it's time to get out the buffer. I'm too lazy to get the extension cord, so I'm right next to the outlet up there on the wall. And what you want to do is you want to start off slow and then work your way up. And do not start it until you press down or this thing will come flying off. What we're going to do is just buff it in and gradually increase our speed a little bit once we get the wax absorbed. And that's it. All right, well, this is starting to look really good, actually. Got a nice kind of gloss on it. It's kind of hard to tell because it's dark. I did cinch up the grill cloth just a little bit, clean the badge, clean the glass. I'm not sure why about even cleaned inside the cabinet, so it's nice and clean. I might just have to finish this tonight. It's pretty exciting that it's coming along this well. All right, so all the electronics and everything are done. We have our new across the line caps. I made this little, what do you call it? Basically a terminal strip. So we have the line cord coming in. And then on one side we have a fuse. I was going to put a fuse holder in there, but this transformer takes up all this space, and I couldn't put it here either. So what I did instead is I basically welded it to one side of this this device here, and I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, but I still decided to kind of insulate that just the same. Let's push this down a little bit. There, it's far away from there. And then we have our audio input. We have, I know this looks kind of messy, but I don't want people to pull and chafe that cord, so I put a little glue in. It goes through the phono input. And we have our right and left channels going together to mono through these set of resistors. So I think she's just about ready to be put back in the case, and see what happens. All right, we're cooking away here. This thing's got a very cool looking dial, by the way. Kind of a nice backlit sort of. I'm guessing that's what all those rainbowy colors were for. You're supposed to get sort of a warm glow. Now I have it on a Bluetooth going into the phono switch.
Only hope is to fly, fly, fly. Well, he is not the only one that's on that trail. This old
Not bad. Let's go to AM.
During the off season last year, I did see numbers.
Kind of like how there's a cool little light for AM.
For the root causes, and what are the reasons?
And let's go to FM.
It ain't too many of them that can handle me, but I might let you try it out the Hennessy. Make them sing to this thing like
50 post off Union Square.
in Palo Alto, Shreve is perfectly $750 gift card. I'll go shopping with you now.
I mean, for a 1940s FM radio, that works really well. I mean, they were still trying to figure it out per se, but I think they got it pretty well figured out on this guy. I think I'm going to go over it with a little more wax because it did come out so well. And yes, those are not the original knobs. This thing was missing the freaking knobs, and I dug for hours and hours to find a matching set of 4. It might be worth actually going onto the radio forum and being like, does anyone have Westinghouse knobs? Because it'd probably look a lot better. But if I can't, well, I saved it. This guy came in yesterday, and it was going to go into the sales shed. And I just wanted to work on it. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I kind of like the way it looks, and I like the way it sounds, and it performs well in FM. Amazing. Let's see if I can... It's a heavy sucker when it's all put back together again. Damn it. Alright. I know I'm doing a bad job of filming. There's the innards. It's all nice and cleaned up. I'm just going to let it do its thing here for maybe a couple hours. Make sure nothing's going to blow up. And then we'll call it good. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, I'll try to get to them in a timely manner down below. And until the next time a radio or some other obsolete device comes across my workbench, I'll see you guys next time. Alright, see you later. Adios.